Okay, down here along the river, the Cahaba River, it takes a lot of doing to get to this spot, unless you want a canoe or something. But this is a really secluded area along the Cahaba River, and this whole area back up here was all part of the Alabama Fuel and Iron Company's Overton coal mines network. Way back, maybe about a mile or 3/4 to a mile would be Overton number 1. Way back over there, maybe over a mile, would be Overton number 2. And back around this curve in the bend, going back into the Liberty Park area, would have been Overton number 4. And the Overton number 4 mine site actually had a mine which is back in Liberty Park, and it's all sealed off. But the tram cars, either dinky locomotives or probably electric tram cars, once they got the coal out of the Overton number 4 slope mine, they carried across a bridge. The bridge piers are still there along the Cahaba River. You can't go over there to Liberty Park. It's private property. You can see them from the other side. But they had a tramway line that came all the way around above the river, and just high above the river there's a couple of old collapsed drift mines above it, and the tramway bed came all the way around the river. And you can see this is the tramway bed for the probably the electric tram car that hold the coal, and it went right into Overton number 1. This is the tunnel that the coal carried out of Overton number 4. It went along the Cahaba River, the banks of it, above it, and went straight into this steep ridge right here. And there was a long haulage way, and the coal from Overton number 4 was carried through this tunnel inside the Overton number 1, and the coal was carried up top to the coal tipple and coal washer. But this is the actual tunnel, and this is the rail berm right here, dug in rail berm right here. And this took a lot of work. Must have taken a lot of work for them to build this. And I'm not sure if they cut all this out or this was just natural. I'm sure it was just natural. But this is the actual tunnel that went right in Overton number 4. So, but it's this is some rough doing just to get to this site. It's very remote. So I'll go in here and take a look. Okay, this is the tunnel entrance that would have led to Overton number 1, and it's quick exploration back in there. It's sealed after a little ways back in there. They might have just sealed it with dynamite, or it caved in on its own. But it's really picturesque back up here above the Cahaba River, and you can see the raised wall right here. There are stacked pieces of shale still here. This is where the tramway rails would have been, right here, and it just would have gone straight into the mine right here. And it's pretty big, and it's caved in just right up here, but you can see where they just cut this right out of sandstone shale. Don't see the coal seam, but it's caved in right there. It would have just gone straight back that way. And thinking they may have just set some dynamite off in here to seal that. But otherwise, that would have gone straight into the Overton #1 mine. So, but anyway, great little piece of history right here. Another forgotten piece of mining along the Cahaba River. And nothing discernible. They took all the rails and everything. But anyway, that's what the entrance would look like right there. So, all right. Okay, back just a little bit ways to the north there is the tunnel entrance for the Overton #1 mine. And this right here is the old tramway bed. And you see the Cahaba River right here. And the tramway bed heads all the way back along, parallel above the Cahaba River. Goes down quite a ways till it makes a turn to the left or to the southeast. And then it would have gone right over the bridge to Overton #4. But this is the remains of the tramway bed right here. And I'm not sure whether this was natural or whether they had to cut all this out to make this tramway bed. Either way, it was a Herculean effort back then. So this goes back to the late 1920s, I think, Overton #4. I'm not quite sure, but definitely between 1925 and maybe 1930. So, but anyway, they just had to cut a lot of this out. So, must have been something to see a tramway. I think it would have been an electric tramway line coming all the way around, hugging the river, carrying, hauling coal cars, full coal cars, and empty ones. So, all right. Okay, just a little last video here of the tramway bed. You can just see it's just solid shell wall going up. That's about 600. I think the elevation here is about 670 feet above sea level. But they had to cut all this out just to make this tramway bed. And of course, there's the Cahaba River. But this is the raised tramway bed, and just beyond that underbrush there would be the tunnel entrance going into Overton #1. So, or the tunnel entrance remains, we should just say. But anyway, nice and quiet down here along the Cahaba River. Very picturesque. So, okay, nice little exploration to find this forgotten piece of history of another coal mine operation along the Cahaba River.